This is a lesson reflection on teaching my friend how to play guitar for my parody. What I did was I had her play my parody so she could accompany herself, so she was learning how to sing the parody as well as learning how to play guitar. The challenges that I encountered in teaching her to play guitar were fitting the chords with the lyrics, so trying to do the chording at the same time as singing the words at the right time was a little bit challenging at first. She got it, but I am continuing to think about ways that could make that easier, and one of the things I came up with was to teach the words first so that she wasn't learning both at the same time. One of the things that she had a challenge with was switching chords quickly, which is something that I still have a little bit of trouble with as I was learning it, and that just takes repetition. So by the end of the project, she was doing much faster, but that was a challenge that I had to kind of see what I could do in the moment to help her with. And I gave her ways to practice doing that if she were to continue playing. The other thing was that I ran into her prior habits from playing ukulele. She learned strumming patterns for that, very simple ones, but they weren't the ones that I had wanted her to use. And so under trying to remember both the lyrics and the chords at the same time, she would go back to what she was used to doing. So it took another 2 or 3 times to get that different strumming pattern into her hands. So it worked, but that was something that I'd never thought of that I ended up encountering. Things that I learned through this were that some people will learn faster than others, and she was one of them. She learned very quickly, and in some ways I should have planned more to do so that I wasn't trying to think as much in the lesson. It would have gone a little bit faster, a little bit more smoothly had I planned for her to, the potential for her to go and learn very quickly. So also, if I were to do this, I learned that I would need a lesson plan. I would want at least one written so I had it in my mind. I had something in my mind, but I didn't really write it out step by step, so I think that would help me next time. And that way, if I do have things that go too far, I can move it to the next lesson, but I have a plan. I would also want her to play with the recording that I have, because it'll show the chords better, it'll show how I'm doing them, it shows the fingering positions so that she can see that, and I don't necessarily have to be showing her in the moment. The other thing that I really considered doing that I learned is that modeling really works. So it'd be ideal for me to have a second guitar so that she can play while I play, watching me. It would go faster, it would go a little bit smoother, but I do know that modeling was a huge help in this project. The way that I learned these things is through observing her learning process, through my own learning process to bring that to the table, and really just having to teach it taught me a lot.